Okay, assessment 2, the project portfolio. Now, really, the project portfolio is kind of whetting your appetite a little. We want you to start thinking about the community that you're actually looking at. So each workshop will be allocated a particular community. So we want you to develop your understanding of that community. We also want you to start thinking about your health profession. Okay, what might be the health and well-being implications of your health profession doing something innovative in that community? And finally, what are the ideas that you've got about the project brief? So it's really this kind of far-reaching portfolio, really just to get you thinking creatively and understanding the community. Okay. So it has a number of sections in it, and these sections can be done independently, and there will be times where we discuss some of these ideas in class, but don't wait for them. Make sure you get stuck into them early. Now, what I would recommend when you have a look at these is to really think about all of the different things that you could include. And to be honest, this is an approach to writing that you should take anyway. Have a look at the question and go, okay, what are all of the different things that I could write about? Just do a big mind map and go, okay, I could write about the fact that they've got parks, I could write about this, I could write about that, I could write about this. Write 10, 15, 20 different things. Okay, then stop, sit back and go, okay, which ones are going to show that I really understand the question, that I'm going to meet the brief? And then just circle a few, okay? And you can take this approach with just about any assessment task, but the assessment task in this subject in particular. So the first section is the community exploration. Okay, it's 500 words. You've got 500 words to play with. And you will have been doing some work in class, having a look at the characteristics of the community and some exercises around how those characteristics of the community might relate to health and well-being. So for this community exploration, your first task is to get a better understanding of the nature of the community that you're working with. Okay, so you've got the Exploring Your Community module, and that's going to help you and provide you a framework to do that. Okay, the asset-based approach. And we want you to start having a think about what are the different opportunities that exist in this community. One of the key principles of the asset-based approach to community development is the idea that whenever we do work in community, we need to start with where their strengths lie. Okay, there's no point going, oh, we've got this big gaping gap here, let's operate in this space, because there's no motivation or drive in the community. They haven't got the skills to do it. So you need to start with the strengths, right? And the asset-based approach will give you a framework for identifying what those assets are. And we want you to describe how 3 or more, and I would suggest that 3 is probably about right, of these community characteristics. So it might be the fact that they've got lots of parks. It might be the fact that there's lots of high-end business in town. It might be the fact that they do, I don't know, sheep farming a lot, whatever they happen to be, but how 3 of these different characteristics might influence the health and well-being outcomes for the community. Think really broadly about what are the implications of these strengths, right? How do they build health? Start with that, because that's a really important question. How do the characteristics of this community strengthen the community? And then you can ask yourself the question, how might these characteristics or lack of certain things in the community lead to reduced health and well-being? Now, what I'm looking for is for you to think really critically and I guess creatively about how the places in which we live influence health and well-being. Now, the way to do well in this is to provide a really solid argument that says, look, there's lots of sports groups and sports activities that individuals can engage with. And so this would have an influence on the health and well-being of the community by making sure that everybody could access sport. And then you might provide a level of critique and say, however, the fact that everybody has to go to school in another town means that people are really busy. So think really carefully, and we will do some work on this in class, but think really carefully about how the place in which we live leads to health and well-being, because it's a really important thing to think of, okay? Now, the second component is to think about your health profession. Now, you're just starting to grapple with your health profession, right? And that's okay. So now is your opportunity to be a little bit creative and think, okay, what's the idea that I might get by applying my health profession, my health domain into this community? How could my health profession improve the health and well-being of this community? It might be that there's lots of sugary, sweet shops in a certain town and that they don't have dental services. And maybe your idea is to, I don't know, take a teeth cleaning thing down to the football club and come up with a way to do that. Okay, so it is an opportunity to be creative. But what I want you thinking about is the role of your health profession in this kind of health prevention, health promotion type space. How is it that you could use that? Now, if you're from a broader discipline, that's okay. You can take that information and apply it more broadly. Okay, how might a health scientist, for instance, improve the health and well-being of the community? And finally, you'll notice in this subject that there are lots and lots of flexi modules. Okay, or not finally, second finally, there are lots and lots of flexi modules, and we want you to come up with an idea. So each of you will do one of these modules. You can do more if you like, but you'll do one of these modules, and I would recommend that as a group you discuss which ones as a group you're going to do so that you're each bringing different things to the table. Okay, so you'll do this module, and I want you to take some of the ideas from that module and use them to create a way of meeting the community brief, okay? So before we were just talking about improving the health and well-being of the community. Now we're actually talking more specifically, we're narrowing down as we go through, narrowing down to what the community are asking us for. So you might do the events module and the community might be saying, oh, we want to improve, I don't know, sexual health in our community among older people. And so you might go, okay, we could take the events module, we could create this big event, blah, 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 blah. What's your idea? Again, an opportunity to be creative, but we want you really thinking critically about how you could improve the health and well-being in the particular domain that the community have identified. Okay, 500 words. Now, the best way to come up with ideas, because some of you are already freaking out, I know, because I've taught this for a few years, the best way to come up with ideas is to not edit them. Okay, sit down with a whole bunch of sticky notes or a piece of paper and just write all of the bad ideas that you can come up with, right? Just write idea after idea after idea after idea, right? Write for 10 minutes, just come up with crazy ideas. And what you'll find is you'll unblock yourself, okay? And some of those ideas will have merit. Then at the end, go through and go, okay, what are my top 3? And then what are my top 1? And then write about that one, okay? Coming up with ideas, when you use this method, you won't, time and time again, I've seen this again and again and again in lots of different settings. So long as you don't edit yourself and you just write lots of ideas, you will end up coming up with some really good ones. And I want you to provide a description of that. Now, make it really clear that you've taken content from the module. Show me that you really understand the module in the way that you describe that, but describe this idea that you're talking about. Now, finally, as a group, which means you're going to have to be organized, as a group, I want your group to get all of those ideas, whether they're the health profession ideas or they're the module ideas, and I want you to look at them together and go, okay, which of these are the strongest? As a group, I want you to work together. This is a group focus bit, so you will each group will present one written piece of combination of all of your work for about 1,000 words, depending on how many people are in the group. And I want you to identify the 2 strongest ideas that you've got as a group. So as a group, you should have a whole stack. Which are the 2 that your group goes, oh my goodness, these are amazing? Might be a teeth cleaning thing for, I don't know, elderly women, and something else related to the project brief. Doesn't matter which ones they are. And I want you to describe why you think these ideas have the greatest likelihood of success. So this is something you're going to have to come up with as a group, why they have the greatest likelihood of success, and what are the 2 primary challenges with the idea. Now, the reason I'm getting you to do this as a group is because I want you to start to really form those ways of working together. This is not the kind of assignment that you can send everybody off to do their individual bits. What I would recommend is you sit down in one of your meetings and you choose which 2 and then go, okay, so let's list all of the reasons that we think that this idea has a great likelihood of success. And then let's identify a few that are our strongest. And then the same again, what are the 2 biggest challenges? Lift off all of the challenges and identify the 2 most important challenges. What are those challenges? And do that for both of those ideas. Okay, so really as a group, you should be able to come up with all of the content, all of the ideas, and then it's just a matter of getting someone to write it down. You might have someone who's really quick, who writes it roughly, and then someone else might edit it, but you as a group need to negotiate that. So this process, yes, it's lots of different bits and pieces. That is the nature of a portfolio. And really, we're leading you gently into coming up with ideas for your for your proposal, which we'll do in the weeks following the due date for this assessment task. So get stuck into it. It's broken up into nice bite-sized chunks, so it should be fairly straightforward. Make sure you know what you don't know before you come to class, because there will be plenty of opportunity to ask questions and to get clarity on how to do this assessment task and how to do it well. And I would reiterate, if you're struggling with this, please get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to sit down with you and have a chat and help you to kind of battle it out a bit. University is supposed to be a little bit difficult, but we're here to support you through it. But we can't unless you let us know. So get stuck into it early so that you know what you don't know. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thanks.